welcome. Me personally, I'm in the Christmas spirit. Everything's good. Everything's fun. Everything's fine. Oh, I've been rushing all around none of it. And you know, I just happened to miss my dog sled and caught the wrong one. And so I ended up going 20 minutes the wrong way. Oh, well, I'm back now. Life is good. Oh, my God. What a time to be alive. It's great. You know, we're all getting ready for the big man to arrive. The man with the big bowl full of jelly, the big bushy beard, and the big bushy eyebrows. Hey, you know, listen. Even when late, I still got it, baby. So anyway, Cheddars, I hope you're doing well. I hope life's treating you well. I hope all has been exactly as you need to be, you know? Oh my God, what a time to be alive, truly. You know, you'd think, after all my work, after all my efforts, I would know how to keep a schedule. But no, I don't. Oh my gosh. Uber late? No, not Uber late at all. I'm exactly on time. I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. Why'd you start all the way out here? This is where we left off last time, King. Last time we played Minecraft. It's been forever. What do you mean? We went for a little tour. And I showed you guys the cool old places. You don't recall that? Don't forget that you can't use the toilet on Christmas because of the Christmas toilet shark. I'm sorry, what? Okay, say hi to my girlfriend so I can abandon you. Hi, MJ's girlfriend. Hi. I hope you're doing well. I hope life's treating you well. I hope you're in the Christmas spirit. I hope you've been good. I hope you get lots of gifts from Santa. Yes. My oh my. But Tyler, how are you? How's life? How's the wife? How's the kids? Hopefully good. Nap, it's our anniversary day. Say something nice. I have never said a nice word about anybody ever, but of MJ I can say, and they're all right. You know, as far as MJs go. You know, I guess there's Michael Jackson. And I guess there's Michael Jordan. But a solid third place for... Oh, what a time to be. Okay, I'm charging you back. No. Oh my God. No, but congratulations. Anniversaries are important. It's good to mark days and notate things. I hope you're taking time for it. I don't know why you're here if that's the case. You should be taking time for each other. You should be enjoying each other's company. Go caroling. Go get some cider. Go skating. Go, you know, I'm locking my girlfriend in the escape room. What does that mean? What does that mean? Because you were late. What? I'm late, so you're here? What does that mean? Oh my God. Gotta go later, Tyler. Me, oh my. You know, you're late one time in a blue moon, and suddenly it's the worst thing in the world. It truly throws everybody just entirely for a loop. I wanted to go get my stream streak and say hi and go, and then you were late, and it became a whole thing. You know what? Fair. I appreciate that you seek the streak. I don't know if that's because you have fun here and are like, gee willikers, I want that stream streak for just the good old fun support of Nap. Or if it's just like MJ achievement mind being like, I need the streak, and if I don't, then I'll kill someone, you know? Hello, little turtle. Oh, what a cutie patootie. We're going to an escape room with me, my sister, and my girlfriend, and also 5 babies. Like, just 5 random babies? Like, just the Rugrats? What do you mean? You're getting lost in Paris? What do you say? What? And some of us won't make it out. What do you mean won't make it out? What's happening? What is happening in the good old what's it called? What's happening in the good old escape room that's gonna prevent the 5 babies from escaping? Babies are so malleable. I feel like they should be the best at escaping. That's why they gotta make baby cages. You know, nobody's making teenager cages. Well, most people aren't. Nobody's making cages for full-grown adult. Well, I guess jails. Well, okay, so juvie and jails. All right, you got me. All right, other people do get imprisoned, I suppose, not just babies. Spoke too soon. The babies aren't going to be helpful to the escape effort. Why not? They could be very helpful. Oh, I shouldn't have left over there. I actually need jungle wood. That is where we were headed last time. Oh. Okay, we'll go back later. I need to reorient. It's fine. It's fine. No, I don't need the jungle wood right now. It's fine. It's for a later build. It's fine. I think they'll be tremendously helpful. Me personally, I've never known a baby to not be helpful in an escape situation, you know? Oh, what a time to be alive. Truly, we are back with the best and brightest. I am excited. Christmas is just around the corner. I don't have my shopping complete. I really need to do that. It is 2 days till Christmas. I probably should. I have most of it done. I have 99% of it done. I have 1 individual to still shop for. I have 2 individuals to still shop for. Listen, listen. All my friends are bought for. It just happens to be some of my blood relatives I haven't bought for yet. You know, maybe that's bad. Maybe that's a bad thing. I don't know. Personally, I think it's fine. It's cause they got, like, the choice for them has to simmer more, you know? I gotta think about it, you know? Okay, bye, Nep. I'm gonna lose a number of them in the escape room. Girlfriend says bye, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever you celebrate. Bye, happy holidays, Merry Christmas to whatever they celebrate as well. Have fun. Enjoy your escape room. Yes, yes. Enjoy. I also say Merry Christmas, I guess. Whee! Oh my God, could it be MJ with Christmas spirit? Wow, that's normally my department. Well, King, you know what? Because I won't see you again. I hope you both have a very happy anniversary, and I hope you all have a very Merry Christmas. You deserve it, King. It's been a year, and I hope it's a good time. I hope you all take some time to put something bad in your stomachs and eat bad foods and good bad food. You know what I mean? It's tradition. It's tradition. In any event, rest easy, King. Enjoy your escape room and holidays. Bye. Bye. Oh, man. But yeah, so today, the main goal is going to be to continue to work on this kind of garden area. I think I want to actually get like a Versailles style leaf bit done here, which is part of what I needed the jungle stuff for, because I think jungle leaves are going to be better for that. And then I also... Poggers!
Merry Christmas, and also me and my father have secured the trout for Christmas.
Yeah, the Christmas trout! Hello there! Oh my God, thank you so much for 42 months, Dios mío! I appreciate it wholeheartedly, King, and congrats on catching the Christmas trout! I guess he got caught hook, line, and sinker. I don't know if that's how you caught him or not, or if you used like a net, or if it's like you just went to a store. I don't know if secured was like you actually went out and caught a fish, or like just went to the store. I like to think that you went and caught it. That just seems more fun. Like you're just like up in the, well, trout aren't in the mountains, but you're just up in the mountains. We caught it in Measure. Yo, I'm not familiar, but nice. It sounds like hopefully it was a fun little trip. Hopefully it was enjoyable. Oh, I also have to work on the reindeer. It was a difficult catch. Fought hard in the mountains, of course. Classic. As we all know, the mountainous trout. the most difficult one to catch. You know, they're so elusive. Some even theorize they don't exist, but we know. The mountains of the supermarket chain called Major. Oh. Oh, I see. Oh, the mountainous supermarket chain. It feels like something out of Celeste, I can't lie. That feels like you're part way up the mountain. You're just like, oh, sick. I can go in here to buy some food. Let me get some groceries. Nice. Look, I know I'm late, but it was a very good reason. I was watching the Muppets Christmas Carol. Yo, okay, that's a great reason. First of all, second of all, I was late too, King. So don't worry. I had to sprint the last few blocks because, well, caught the wrong dog sled. Truly devastated. Truly the worst thing to ever happen to anybody, ever. I think. Oh man, I love the Muppets Christmas Carol. What a good Christmas movie. I mean, I know that's a difficult thing to define per se, but what a great little Christmas movie. It's you know, as many people have said before, it's in the lovely alternative end, or at the utmost farthest away end of what Muppet movies are, between Tim Curry and Michael Caine, where one pretends to, you know, he's like, I'm not even going to acknowledge that these guys are Muppets, which is the Michael Caine approach, and then the Tim Curry approach was always to just out-Muppet the Muppets, and by God, both do wonders for me. I love both. I think both make for great performance choices, you know? Oh, man. Well, hopefully you had a very seasonal time, you know. Hopefully it got you all in the good Christmas mood feels, and you're just ready to explode like a Christmas cracker. That's a thing, right? I'm like 90% sure that's a thing they do in the UK. I'm like 95% sure even. Or I've been deeply misled. Deeply misled. Either's possible. When I go over to Canada, it's always the worst when you get on the wrong dog sled. I know, right? Yeah, here in Nunavut, you get on the wrong dog sled and you go, ah, jeez, ow. I'm not going uptown. Oh, I meant to be. Oh, God, this isn't even going to get me where I need to be. And for some reason, you just feel the need to blame a mayor. You're like, the mayor of Nunavut. I blame them, you know? They've done nothing to cause the blame, but you feel the need to anyway. Muppets Christmas Carol is absolutely one of the best Christmas movies, and one of the best adaptations of the Christmas Carol. Also the only adaptation I've ever watched. It's one of the best adaptations. I've not seen any other adaptations, but it's one of the best. Hey, you're not wrong. I've never exploded personally. Well, you're missing out then, King, you know? I think a judicious amount of Christmas exploding is good for the soul. Where one must, you know, go, and then just into a bunch of different little confetti pieces, you know? Let me make my baseless declarations in peace. I suppose that is the time period. It is meant to be the time of peace on earth, goodwill to men, and so on and so forth, and jolly Christmas, you know? This isn't Fallout. Does it still say Fallout? Does it still say Fallout? It shouldn't. It didn't update when I hit go live, okay? It didn't work. Oh, man. And then it said Fallout, and then MJ showed up to be like, wait, is it Fallout? And I said, wait, no, wait, please, no. It says Minecraft. Oh, okay, thank God. I had a Christmas list this year, I sent it to my friend / lover, and they bought me most expensive thing on it, and I'm going to throttle them. It was really expensive in my mind. Hey, well, congrats. You know what? Congrats. I can certainly empathize with the feeling of desiring to throttle the individuals that throw far too much money at a person. You know, so. But in any event, hey, congrats on the cool gift. Hopefully it is cool. I mean, you don't gotta tell me what it is, but if you don't mind by asking, now I'm curious. But yeah, either way, that's sick. And also, hey, come on, they just want to spoil you rotten. That's all. They just want to get the opportunity to be like, hey, You are my friend slash lover, and then they go, I'm going to buy you the bestest of things, you know, like rainbows on kittens and tied up in string or whatever that song is. These are a few of my favorite things, you know. There's so many options on that list, and they were so much less expensive. Hey man, if you put the option on the list, that's on you. That's on you to woe be to you. You know, if you put the gun on the table, they just fired it, you know. My notification did. Oh, the notifications definitely still say followed. Ah, jeez. Either way, Gamba, I hope you're doing well. Hope you're feeling very Christmassy. I was a little late, and so I panically got stream set up. And when I did that, OBS conked out briefly. It was like, unable to update Twitch details. I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Oh, Lord Almighty. I have 2 films on my Christmas watch list: Muppet Christmas Carol, and Wallace and Gromit: Curse of the Were-Rabbit. The latter I'm watching with my mum on Christmas Eve. Yo, great movie. Can't say I've ever watched it for Christmas, but fantastic choice of movie. Honestly, just all Wallace and Gromit. 11 out of 10. Great choice. Stellar. Saviors of Wensleydale cheese. That's actually a fact. That company was going bankrupt, and then those movies came out. And then they were like, yeah, so anyway, we've entered a partnership with them as the official spokespeople for Wensleydale cheese. And I was like, yeah, I mean, understandable. Oh, it's an anime figure of Rei Ayanami from Neon Genesis Evangelion. Yo, sick, dude. Man, so many people in this chat are getting cool little guys, cool little figurines lately. MJ got Gordon Freeman. You got the Evangelion one. That's sick. Well, when you got it all set up, I mean, you don't got it, but I'd love to see it if you want to throw a photo in media. I'm always interested in the various little guys that people collect and the like, you know. Namely, because I only recently got indoctrinated into. Earlier this year, you know, if you had met me this time last year, I would have said, no, I'm not. I think they're neat and all, but no, I don't really partake in the procurement of little guys. So anyway, then I went to Japan, and now I buy a lot of little guys. Anyway, now lots of them. It's an anime Nap. I have installed Fortnite, and it took literally all night, but I will be playing with the Mel Gang tomorrow. Yo, congrats! Is the Percy Jackson stuff in it currently, I assume, then? Oh, Dios mío. Oh, how long is it in there? Oh, do I have to download this game? Oh, well, re-download, I should say. It didn't want to work last time, and I don't want to have to spend all day troubleshooting it. Oh! I used to watch Curse of the Were-Rabbit in form time, homeroom, every year during high school because Form Tina put it on for us. I just kept it going. Yeah, that's actually really sweet. I love collecting figurines. It's so fun. They're just little guys, you know. The Percy Jackson is in fact in it. Oh, Grant, I have Christmas shopping to do. Grant, I have things to be doing. I have legitimate. I have legitimate things I'm meant to be doing today and tomorrow. Oh, no, I can't be on the fork knife grind. Oh, I actually hate that the group chat is called the Mel Gang. Get me out of here. Hey, you know, what can I say? Branding. It's you know, I mean, actually, I don't have to worry about it. It's not called the Nap Gang. I guess it's called the Napoleon the Seventh Empire, but few actually refer to it as that. I feel like everybody just calls it the Discord, you know, and that's all right by me. That is swell. Oh man. It's you know, it's a love-hate relationship. Well, not a love-hate relationship. I actually prefer you know, love that I can be called Nap and Napoleon and stuff like that. It's just one of those things that's like always on in a more serious context. Like when I had to talk with the person with who wanted to do like some movie stuff or whatever, and I was like, okay, sure, we can call. And then they're like, yeah, so what should I call you? And I was like, Nap's fine. People do call me Napoleon. If you want to full name me, I guess. I'm not giving you my real name. So far as anyone's concerned, that is my real name, you know? What a time to be alive. I ain't telling you to do it. I don't like Fortnite either. Yeah, but I feel compelled. When we're talking about Twitch chat and Discord, we call it the Discord. Everywhere else, we call it the Nap Discord for clarity. So it is called the Nap Discord. Well, what do you know? I think I can turn these into mulch. Let's find out. I want to double check that. When I'm talking to Tyler about Batgirl server, I call it the Discord. The group chat is either called group chat, the girlies, or the Mel Gang. I feel like I've only ever heard it called the Mel Gang, to be honest. Napoleon's Discord is called Napchat or Nap Discord usually. Napchat, you know what? I'll take it. That's solid. Good work, team. Good work. You all get your Christmas bonus. Which, well, it's about 50% increase, but a 50% bonus on 0% is in fact still nothing. So rough. But hey, you know, you can put that feather in your cap or whatever. Well, speaking of, I don't think I've known a single person ever get a Christmas bonus. I don't know why that's been such like a like you watch back like old movies from like the 80s and stuff like that. Like what is it, National Lampoon? Yeah, and they talk about the Christmas crazy, insane. Never once have I heard tell of somebody getting something like that. Oh, I did. What? What a time to be alive. You did make a promise like me. We're in the same situation. No. Because that's your main frame of reference. That's fair. That is my main frame of reference, is that it is called the Mel Gang. And so therefore that is probably the best thing to refer to it as. Because, you know, if you called it the Discord, I'd probably be like, my Discord? What about it? You see, because I'm a narcissist and everything is framed by what I do and believe, you know? I think it's a good way to be. I think it's a healthy option, you know? The Discord is named a super serious server about Batgirl, and someone being like genuinely mean to us called it the Batgirlies in passing, and now I keep saying it. Crazy. Cool. How is that me? I don't know if I'm missing some. How is calling it the Batgirlies a mean thing? I don't know if I follow that bit, but it seems like a fun name, to be honest. Now, will this work? Let's find out. No is the answer. I thought maybe I could mulch these spider eyes, but alas, I cannot. Well, what the heck can I do with 1,000,002,000 spider eyes? I don't need this many spider eyes. There's way too many spider eyes for any one man to have. I have 9 stacks of spider eyes. Yo, Medicine out, do. Hi, Nap. Hi, Chad. I'm at a Christmas party right now. Do y'all think I could make my homies watch? You say that like you're gonna put them at gunpoint. Hey, do you think I can make them? Well, hopefully you're enjoying your friends biz. Hopefully it is a fun and enjoyable time. Yes. I'm throwing out spider eyes. That's how I ring in the holiday season, by burning quite literally dozens of spider eyes. Hundreds, maybe. I have a Nerf gun for that express purpose. Like, you just have it with you at all times? Just in case? In case at any time you need to convince people? Oh my god. Yes! Oh my god. Dios mío. Telling you Santa Claus isn't real right now, letting you know the server has never once been named after me. It has been Batgirl related. But Santa Claus is real. What do you mean? What do you mean, what do you mean, Bello? Santa Claus is real. And I will also remind you that I'm currently in a category where people of any age can watch. So, you know, say, please. So 13 and up. 13 and up is who it should be, and you require that to have a Twitch account. Yes. You do not require it to access the site. Just to have an account. So technically, you can watch anything on Twitch and not be that. You just can't have an account, which means you can't engage in the chat side of things, can't gain points, can't gain watch points, etc. But there is no pre-check authorization when you first open a Twitch stream that is set to general audiences to be like, hey, are you 13? It just kind of goes, stream, you know? But yes, if they were to identify themselves, then yes, I would send them into the sun of bannability. I'd go, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Oh, man. I could really use way more sandstone. I don't want to have to go all the way to the desert. Oh, it's so far away. Crime time? What about prime time crime time? Or the prime crime time? In line. It's fine. Thine. Oh, Dios mío. Well, hopefully you all have outside. I mean, I now know that Gred has good plans. Gred has Wallace and Gromit plans for Christmas. That's fantastic. But I hope the rest of you have something fun you're planning to do. Something bad you got to put into your body. Some sort of cookie or the like, and then just enjoy, relax. And for those that have to work through the holidays, well, I hope you can have some peace during that time as well, and that you're not entirely geschmeckled by retail. You know. I will say, though, my favorite thing, speaking of retail, my favorite thing remains to be anytime around Christmas, you just wander into a toy shop, you wander near to a toy aisle in a box store, and you get to you get the most wonderful engagement witness of the most wonderful engagements of small children who are throwing a fit, and then the parent hits them with the nuclear weapon, the thermonuclear bomb of, I can still tell Santa. I'll call him right now. And then the child, the child, they crumple to their knees. They fall, they go, no, you can't. I don't know why, but I get a kick out of that. I have always gotten a kick out of it. I still get a kick out of it. Something about just like the instant, like, no, I'll smarten up, please. You can't do this. I have a family. Oh, God. It amuses me to no end. And it's relatively harmless, you know? Never threatened me with Santa. Hey, you're probably a pretty good kid then, you know? it's mind you, I feel like it's only truly a targetable attack like when you're within the week till Christmas, when it's like, oh, there's no time to make up for it. If you put that call in now, ooh baby, are my Christmas stocks going to come crashing down? You do, in fact, have a family, a husband and 2 kids. That's true. But they celebrate Hanukkah, so, you know, it's totally different. Which, speaking of, I don't think Hanukkah's over yet, so hope anybody who's celebrating that is enjoying their Hanukkah season. Their 8 crazy nights, as the famed and well-received Adam Sandler movie says. What an absolutely insane movie. It's crazy that's like the only real Hanukkah movie. I mean, there's definitely some that I just don't know about, but if I don't know about them, do they really exist, you know? Maybe it's all just a simulation. It's all just whatever I've borne witness to is all there truly is, you know? It's possible. It's possible. Not likely. Not particularly likely, I'll give you that, but it's possible. My mom and dad raised me exceptionally well, in my opinion, especially for my formative years. Yo, nice! Your Honor, he learned lots of life lessons early on. Yes, yes. Today's actually the last day of Hanukkah. Yay! Well then, congrats on your 8 crazy nights. Enjoy lighting that final candle. I think that's what happens. I really don't know enough about Hanukkah. Like, I know it's like each night you light the candles with the previous candle. But that's about all I know. And I think there's a gift. I think there's, and there's gelt. I know there's gelt, which I think is like chocolate coins. It's also utterly unprovable and also impossible to disprove. Well, that's my favorite kind of thing, you know? Technicalities. Uh-oh. Oh, okay. I was worried. I was worried for a second. I had a whole bunch of buzzing on my phone, and then I realized what it was. It was from a group chat. Never mind. I was like, oh, why? People don't normally contact me this frequently and this ferociously. What is going on? Would you like to know how I know I'm autistic? Sure, you're welcome to share. Do you know the game where people message someone when you spot them out in the wild before they realize you're there? Probably with a photo to prove it. Sure, vaguely. Yeah, you know, yeah, people have, yeah, where you just like, you see someone else that you know, and you're just like, oh, I see you. Yeah, I don't know about a game with it, but you know, yeah, I've texted people like that, just be like, oh, I just saw you across the ice road in Nunavut. But you know, you're not gonna like stop and go chat with it. You're just like, hey, I saw you. Hey, it's crazy. There's so many people in Nunavut. How did I see you? What were you up to, huh? Why were you going into that store, huh? And then you grill them. Then you turn the big Pixar light onto them and you go, you're gonna level with me here, kid. What were you doing, huh? Why were you running in there? Be quick about it. I don't know how long I can keep my partner at bay, but it's just you. You're the partner. Or was it just that, like, game in particular? Were you just very good at it? Like, you just spotted people all the time, or? I do know I have to go all the way to the desert, but I can at least get some of it right now, you know? Anyway, we played that game in my Normanus group. They played it for a couple years before I ever got there. I spent a couple hours using the search function in Discord to count every single instance recorded, who spotted who and when, and then I spent several more days perfecting and filling out a spreadsheet of every single spot, divided them up by year so we could see the winner for each year, and made a table to automatically calculate who spotted the most people, who's been spotted the most, and who has the most spots to spotted ratio. Hey, that'd be a lot of work, dude. That'd be an insane amount of work to calculate that all up. Especially, yeah, if it like predated you being like within the Discord to do so, yeah, that'd be like scroll way far back. It was a lot of work. Yeah, I'd imagine. Ah. I keep it meticulously updated. Way. Hey, well, I imagine it's probably somewhat easier to keep it updated after you do the initial round, but yeah. Well, that's neat. Ah. In, like, you know, an intensive amount of work, but neat. There are 648 currently recorded spots. Brother, that is a lot of spotting. But even more so, that is a lot of stuff to count. That is power to you, but couldn't catch me doing that. I'd be like, that's too many. I'll start from now, and you know, who knows who won before this. People 112 times. 112 times. My God, were they stalking them? Were they, not to make it a Christmas pun? But stupid. General people, not an individual. Ah. Wait, I'm confused. So wait, they're not. This is just they spot anybody? Person who's been spotted the most has been spotted 70 times. Oh, okay, yeah, but it's all still like they spot 112 different different people, but they were all still people in the same group, I assume, yeah. Even still, that's seeing a good amount of people. I feel like maybe I just don't look around enough. I don't know, but I feel like it's such a rare occasion that I ever see anybody that I know just like randomly. Like, you know, I mean, outside of like occasionally at the same coffee shop, but it's just like, oh yeah, we frequent the same place, you know? With repeats. Yeah, yeah. Either way, that's so many. Yeah, we'll go around to the desert. No. Also, so far, by the way, absolutely killing it. Not been whammed, just living La Vida Loca. Was worried that it might happen, so just I've locked in. I've locked in with just. I don't think I've left my abode without headphones on. In fact, that caused me the problem. To be fair, I did not. I did not hear/notice the change that I should have heard in the dog sleds. Because I was wearing headphones. But I've avoided wham. So that's the important thing. That's the only critical aspect of my life these days, truly. 64 people currently on the table, most of whom live in the same city. Well, the odds are, depending on how many live in the city in total, the odds are pretty exponential, I guess. Could never miss my stop. What can I say? I keep track of time to stop without even listed. What can I say? Sometimes they change your dog's sled while you're on it. Sometimes they don't. What can I say? Sometimes they go, actually, we've rerouted you. So, hope you figure that out pretty quick, pal. And I go, oh, thanks, man. That's cool. They go, hey, get with the program. Anyway, yeah, when I posted the spreadsheet, I was diagnosed with autism. Because of the spreadsheet? Or like, these things just coincided and you went, oh yeah, that's right, okay. Yeah, I get it. Doesn't happen on British dog sleds as far as I know. Mostly because we don't have dog sleds. Ah, you're missing out. Not even in the Highlands? I assume there'd be some sort of dog sled in the Highlands. Not for snow, just something for the dogs to do, I guess. You guys could get around like, you know, Radagast the Brown or whatever. I guess he's technically being pulled by a team of rabbits, I'm pretty sure. Cool guy, that Radagast. Lives a chill life. I bet he knows Mr. Frog and Toad. Those like really dapper Frog and Toad that like ride the bicycle. Those guys seem chill. I mean, I already had a diagnosis, but they saw it and said autism diagnosis, and they were right. Yeah, I mean, that tracks, yeah. I can't say, you know, I mean, just the sheer volume of effort alone, yeah, I could understand. Yeah, that's a lot of statistical information to be engaged with, to be like, not in some capacity on the autism spectrum, I'd imagine. Though I suppose it presents differently for each person. Some people are numerically inclined that way and statistically inclined, and other people are probably, I don't know, more interested in hyper focusing on some other element, I assume. It's actually a very cool person. They're in charge of making sure people stay hydrated during shows. I can't lie. I do like it when they just march up and grill me about how much I've been drinking in a band. I go drink regardless of how much I want to look at the peasant display. Not the peasant's display, no. That's good. I mean, it's good to have somebody who's always able to be like locked in on keeping people properly hydrated and, you know, making sure that folks are all taken care of. It's a kind way to be, you know. Certainly a lot better than being just entirely uncaring towards your friends and loved ones of just like, oh yes, I don't really, quite frankly, my dear, I don't give a darn, you know. Bop, bop, bop. From a D&D group, we kind of just ended up getting like a little alarm that goes off. So we all go, oh yes, we should order that now. Yes. Same way, you know, like if you ever do D&D for a full day, it's like, okay, we should probably, let's work out what we're gonna order for food now at the beginning of the day, and even place those orders in advance so that we don't have to worry that we're gonna be like, you know, 9 hours into this and then go, oh yeah, we haven't taken a break. We should do that, you know? It's built in. It's built into the whole shebang that way, and everybody's a lot happier. Because nobody has to worry about like, ah, man. And also you don't run into the issue of like one person being like, I am hungry now. And it's like everybody else is like, well, we're not. Well, if y'all predetermined, then the food will just be there. It'll be fine. It'll be great. Especially when it's midsummer and everyone wearing 2 layers, one of which being a wool tunic over a dress. Yeah, I'd do it. Yeah, this is probably a good time to make sure people are hydrated, is when, you know, they're in, you know, medieval garb. I feel like of all the times, that's probably up there. Especially because, yeah, the wool stuff is in the summer would just be swelteringly hot. Especially these days. It's getting hotter and hotter in the UK, I'm pretty sure. It's kind of why I can understand why so many folks have switched out or tried to find workarounds in cosplay for how their armor will look and work, because it's like, yes, this could be made and rather inexpensively with the regular like materials, but wool is hot. Convention centers are hot. Do not want to be sopping wet in a pool of sweat. We placed an order for delivery once at the end of the show, but the location was so remote people would pick up our order, see where we wanted it dropped off, and immediately cancel to the point that the place closed. Our order was canceled. We had to order at a different place and go pick it up ourselves. My God, how far out were you, pal? That is also just one of the downsides of, I don't know if it was the case, but of things like DoorDash and the like. It's just like, yeah, convenient, but also it does make a lot of businesses, it lets lots of businesses that would never have delivered, deliver, but also it allows lots of businesses that used to deliver and have delivery people not bother to like be like, here's our delivery area, so you can't like check in advance. And it's like, okay, well, that's entirely unhelpful. The advice I was given before my first show season was however much water you drank last hour, double it, and that's how much you should be drinking. That's true. Most people just in general don't drink as much water as they really should be. Everybody's almost always drinking substantially less. Speaking of Arbor and all that, I was gonna say the what should I call it? Oh yeah, the new Odyssey trailer dropped. It's exciting. It looks good. It looks intriguing. I'm curious as to what they'll do with it. I mean, I gave up on it being historically accurate forever ago, but also I think my interest in it is mostly just I kind of like in some ways that they're going crazy with it, or not crazy, like they're just breaking from some elements of it to do just whatever they want, because ultimately the appeal of the Odyssey in my mind is not just its main story, it's that it's a story like one of the oldest stories we have, and there's something really like I don't know, magical per se, of the idea of like, yeah, we're still retelling it and still finding new ways to tell it and still finding new elements and new things and new themes that we want to explore in the confines of the same story. Is neat. Good old Odysseus. What a guy. Speaking of water, I need to drink some more. Back in a moment. Sure thing, dude. But yeah, I don't know. There's something just really like connective, I guess is the word. For like pretty sure the Odyssey predates the color blue. I wouldn't be surprised. It predates most things. It's literally just the oldest story we have, I'm pretty sure. There may be one or two older, but like for the most part, it's hotly debated, I guess. But like it's like one of like 20 stories that are from that period still survive. One being the Odyssey, there's the Iliad, there's the story, I think the first story of the myth of Wukong comes from before that, and it's like a written one in the East. There's not Chandragupta, there's a story from what becomes India. I'm just blanking on what it's called. The sea is apparently described as wine dark. It is, and that's in part, yeah, because it just doesn't like the words that we have. Also, in part, it's the translations we've used, because it's like trying to ascribe modern day terms to an ancient text. It's like part. I mean, it's the same way that like. How do I phrase this? There are elements of historical travel that are like incomprehensible to be put into either a visual or written medium for today, purely because it's like the world doesn't look that way anymore. And so, for instance, it's like you lots of tales of folks who came to like quote unquote the New World for the first time on their travels. The earliest travelers in their recollections, or for the longest time, were dismissed as being a little fanciful, in part because they were like, oh yeah, there's so many fish that's like they're leaping into our boat, and wow, you could just put your hand out and catch one. People are like, oh yeah, okay, sure, but the reality of the situation is no, it just was not, 50,000 years of major empires fishing the area. You know what I mean? Like, the style of agricultural use of the land in certain areas was very different. It was a very less populated overall landscape. And so because of that, it was less resource depleted, in part because of the practices being used for how to engage with resource dependency, but also just a sheer population level issue. And so because of that, it's just like, oh, no, that's just what, like, it was just that abundant, and that's crazy. The visual for what that abundance would look like is indescribable because we have no frame of reference, and so it can also become fanciful. And like in the same way that we have ideas of how the Colosseum was flooded with water. It was not the way that it was done with sharks in Gladiator 2, but it's one of those things of like, lots of people be like, yeah, but like, how would that even look? Like, what does that look like? Your streams and rants and stuff are always so fascinating. How the hell do you know so much about so much? I just get bored. I get bored and read a lot, and I've lived a life of asking far too many questions. I don't know. It's one of those things. It'll be like I get curious as to one element of a paper I'm reading or one whatever, and I end up delving deeper into it. I like to read my friends' work and homework when I can. Not their homework per se, but like anything that like my friends have worked on for like papers. I'd be like, oh, can I read it? Not because I'll necessarily understand it, because I won't. But it gives me like the beginning of a sense of understanding for something, and then I'm able to expand from there. But it's all just gobbledygook in the brain, Is it because you pretty much entirely... Well, that's incredibly kind of you. I would give yourself some credit as well. I think part of that's also maybe because it's coincided with a period of your life of your own growth. I think the most important thing in life, in my mind, is to never stop learning. Is the other thing. I think one of the greatest detriments and saddest things, I guess, that can be experienced is the idea that you like get bored or you don't want to keep learning more, or the idea that like, oh, it's everything that there is to know, is known, and that I don't gotta go read about it. It's like, okay, but why? Like, do go read about it. It's the same way that like history gets a bad rap as like a dead field. It's like, yeah, okay, we know the most part about his. It's like, yes and no. I mean, it's being written and rediscovered constantly, and lots of the things that we know about it are theoretical. I mean, for like Socrates, for example, is 99.9999999% likely to have existed. But we're not actually sure. We have no idea. We don't have any items written by Socrates. Same way that like Aristotle, for most of his works, we have are like his notes. We don't have any of his like major quote unquote published works. A lot of those would have been destroyed in it was a fire in, I'm blanking on the year, but anyway, he died shortly after, or maybe in it. Anyway, but yeah, Socrates is like supposedly the teacher of Plato. We're not positive it's the teacher of Plato, namely because, well, he probably existed, but all we have is reference to him in Plato's works. The reason we think he exists is because those works reference him, and works that are supposedly written by him are different enough from Plato's later work to feel like a different point of view is being expressed within them, And so it's like a fundamentally interesting thing to be like, oh, okay, that was a different guy, not just. But then he uses Socrates later, like in the Republic, he uses Socrates still as his stand-in figure talking, even though it's Plato's voice actually coming out of him effectively. if that makes sense. We know, no, we don't. Archaeology is put a jigsaw puzzle with 99 missing pieces, and the last one is worn to the point of being all but unrecognizable. Exactly, that's a poetic way of putting it. But yeah, it's. But also, it's very much there's a real problem, particularly in the West and especially in America, of the idea that like history and it's been cracked and now shattered, I would say, over the last decade. But for the longest time of post 1991, post the Berlin Wall falling, it was kind of like rip that page off and history's done, baby. Put it under glass. Put it under glass, don't worry about it. It's set. And we still do sort of feel that way about some things. So for instance, which, you know, that part's wrong because it's like, okay, like a lot more still happens. But it was kind of like, oh, let freedom reign and the like. But at the same time, it's one of those things of like, fundamentally in this day and age, I think because we know so much about history, like that we do know, and we have such reverence for what we do know, or rather try to treat it in a reverential way, with, you know, museums in a way that are like of great public interest, curation and the like history's become much more of an actual industry, so to speak, than it ever has been before. I mean, you know, like the historians and the academic level of history that we have, like with most fields, is at a peak of its existence. And so the problem that creates, and that things like museums create, despite being wonderful, wonderful places that are necessary for helping to teach people history, the problem that creates is, for instance, let's go with like the Louvre, where like that art got stolen, or even where they like, you know, the art that has people try to throw paint onto an existing piece of art in like a climate protest or whatever, and people are like, they're ruining history. Yeah, maybe, kind of, but also that is effectively part of that piece's history now. Like that is now in effect. In 500 years from now, that piece will have a note in its history of the fact that it was used in climate protest displays in the early 21st century. That's an important thing for that piece now. It'll probably be on a placard next to it at some point, should museums continue to exist. You know what I mean? Like, it's like yeah, okay, sure. Have you watched Minutemen on YouTube? I have not. I'm not familiar. Mini Minutemen? Is that what it's called? Mini Minutemen? I like the alliteration. But anyway, it's the idea of like, oh, well, that now, that's also funny enough what gets tied up into, and I'm not going to go too deep onto this subject because I don't think Twitch is the right medium to do so on. But you know, it's why there actually is, it's one of the major reasons why there is some debate around specific items that are, let's say, in museums that others feel should be returned to other areas. For some of those items, absolutely. For other items, it's more complicated. For instance, it's like, there's what's it called, the diamond, it's like one of the crown jewels, is a big important diamond, something heart or whatever. What's it called, one second, the big Queen Victoria diamond, it's called the Kohinoor, the Kohinoor diamond. Yes, that's what it is. Big piss off thing, huge diamond, was bigger before, got cut down into being actually, like, it was a rough diamond when it got given or well, taken in conquest, but anyway, so that's one of those sticking points that you'll find lots of the time people every so often, particularly it came up I think during the coronation for the latest king, which was the idea of like, oh, will the Kohinoor diamond be on display, will it go back to India, and there's people that feel that it should. Trouble with that is both its current physical look as well as its historical relevance is tied to British conquest and the British Raj India. That's like an important element to its history. And also who you would return it to is an unclear thing, because just as, well, modern day India as a state doesn't exactly have a claim on it, or it doesn't have any greater claim to it than modern day Pakistan, modern day Afghanistan, or modern day Iran. And that's because all of those countries have been ruled by somebody who claimed that diamond via conquest in the past, and India happened to be the last group in that region to have done so, kept it for a good couple centuries, and then they lost a war, and they bequeathed it, you could, like, as a term of surrender to the British Empire. So, it is war booty. It's the quote unquote ill-gotten gains of war, but at the same time, it was surrendered in a pre-liberal democratic diplomatic setting, and it is it was then recut. Looks different. It was tied to the fact that Great Britain was once held the emperor/empress of India. Like, these are all things that happened. They're part of the history of the item. So who does it go back to? Well, everybody kind of has an equal claim, and so that's its own thing. Or similarly, the Rosetta Stone, where the Rosetta Stone's claim to fame is actually homeboy, good old Napoleon Bonaparte, and his retrieval of it from Egypt, because there's actually multiple other tablets like the Rosetta Stone that were created by the same pharaoh, because they were just put up in different towns. It's just a tablet of decree. Multiple identical tablets exist. This one's famous because it was studied and became the key to Egyptologists, or early Egyptologists, to understanding hieroglyphs. But that means its historical significance comes from the historical or linguistic work done while it was in Britain, which it got to Britain because they defeated Napoleon, and Napoleon had it because he got given it by the Egyptians, who he helped to throw off the Ottoman Empire, before he left, and then they got taken over by the British. But that's a whole other thing, An archaeologist and science communicator, he grew big by debunking pseudo-archaeological conspiracy theories, and has since branched out to refocus on more purely educational content covering new ideas rather than just debunking. Though he still does debunk conspiracy theories, it's just not his main or only thing anymore. Almost everything I know about U.S. and Native history is from him. Nice! Very neat. That sounds it sounds really cool. There's actually a lot of Native American history is actually incredibly fascinating, and well documented by. There's a lot of Aboriginal and Native historians who are kind of on the rise right now, kind of thing, or have been over the last 30 to 50 years, and a lot of their work is incredibly interesting. Same with political science in the region. Both of those two fields are growing in their representation for the better. But yeah, anyway, all that was to say, history is not under glass, because the idea is that at the end of the day, history is still actively happening. If the piece that got stolen from the Louvre had been destroyed, then that would be its history, and it would be part of the history of the Louvre that an item got stolen and destroyed. You know what I mean? Is that good? No, but it's the living, breathing thing that is ongoing history. It's that is what would have happened, and it would be the case. A video on Great Hopewell Road, a recent and developing theory and discovery. I'm not familiar. He actually made a very first documentary on Great Hopewell Road and co-authored a paper on it. Ooh. Yo, bye-bye, outdo. Was I understanding correctly that there's a slight chance that Socrates was just Plato's OC that caught on enough for playwriters to use him as a character? Kinda. This is not me trying to actually purport that he didn't exist. I am of the opinion he did exist. What I'm saying is that the factuality of history, to underscore the idea that it's not a 1 million billion % certainty kind of thing. It's you can't truly be certain. Is that we have nothing written by Socrates. The only things we have written by Socrates are by Plato. But then Plato goes on to write other things like the Republic in the same fashion where Socrates is talking, but Socrates is dead by that point, and it's different views being expressed. So the Crito and I'm blanking on the other. There's two major works. The Crito is the main one. Are the two works by Plato that is, most people agree, Socrates. On the other hand, potentially he's all made up, but we assume not. There's enough references to him outside of Plato that it seems likely he did exist at some point. We just have nothing that he physically made or did at our hand. You know what I mean? You're just lurking in the entire conversation. Only just decided to drop comment. Based lurk. I like to think Bright Bites just comes in, watches me crank myself up like a little wind up monkey with cymbals, and then goes, all right, you crazy guy. Let's see what you got next. let's see what's gonna come out of the jukebox. And I go, today I coded it so Socrates didn't exist. So I'm not hearing a no. Oh my god. The greatest line of all of the works about Socrates is still the fact that one of them is straight up just talking about how smelly he is. They're like, you are a putrid and disgusting stanky man. Because he was. Socrates didn't bathe a lot. He's gross. I thought maybe I had something in there. But yes, out of the discussion of whether or not history is a bygone era or whether or not there's still new things to be discovered, well, boy howdy, Socrates might be an OC. I generally do wonder whether ARGs existed back in ancient Greece and massively confused our understanding of time. Oh, entirely. Like, that is a genuine concern, an element of historical study of like ensuring you're not reading or finding a source non-corroborated that is truly just like somebody was having fun. Because sometimes it's easy to be like, oh, I found this really old thing and it says this. It's like, because I mean, that's, you know, that's the likelihood of Atlantis. I mean, Aristotle writes of Atlantis in a way that makes it sound like it absolutely existed. In truth, it was probably a like fictional what's the word, literary device. It was probably a literary device to help explain, because he was drawing comparisons to Athens and where Athens was headed with its moral existence. And so it's more likely that that Aristotle's work was he made a fictional society to be like, okay, so let's compare and contrast our society with fictional utopia that fell into the ocean. But if you read Aristotle's writings, if you read the writings, the original text of Aristotle, and there's one Egyptian scholar, or maybe it's even a vizier that wrote of Atlantis, they don't write about it in a joking manner. They don't write about it like, the fictional world of Atlantis. They write about it like it was a real place. We just assume, okay, but the way they're comparing and contrasting, they probably were just, hydrate. I actually needed that. I was talking a lot. They were probably just comparing and contrasting to like do a thought study on like the morality of Athens, more so than anything else. Because the thing is, like, in Aristotle's work, part of the vain and power-hungry nature of Atlantis is what caused it to be sundered by the gods and cast under the like why it was swept into the ocean was because it angered the gods, which is a typical way of telling stories for the time period, of being like, yeah, so that's why we don't do that. That's why we don't become power-hungry, crazy warlords, you know? Because otherwise big man Poseidon come out of the ocean and go, no, your society's gone. I had no idea we knew where the Legend of Atlantis originated. I assumed it was a tale that was passed along so many that we lost track. There's elements of that. Like, there's certainly an oral history component to Atlantis, in the same way like stories of Heracles and stuff like that. But yeah, no, like that's the only textual references we have are Aristotle and that other one. I am blanking on what it's called. But yeah, those textual evidences are the actual basis that anybody has for being like, oh, this was like a thing. But the reality is probably not. But in fairness, in similar fashion, that's how a lot of people felt about Troy for a very, very long time. Centuries went by where we assumed Troy was a literary device. It probably never existed. And in truth, the Troy of the Iliad, like the Troy that is like, you know, walls that scrape the sky and like this crazy like you know, that is probably gonna be not the case. It's probably not going to be that impressive, but we do have a good idea where in modern day where Troy was. We do now. It's now no longer theory that Troy existed. It just wasn't as mythic as as the story says. But for the longest time, people were like, "Oh yeah, it was a myth." So, like, in truth, it could be the case there was a society like Atlantis. It's just much more unlikely because we had way more discussion about Troy than we ever did Atlantis. Particularly, more discussion of Troy lasted out of a period where, because you got to realize, like, where the Iliad's being written versus where Aristotle's writing are, like, centuries apart. Kind of like World War Z, the book. It was written entirely straight and in character as though it really was a report made on a real UN member about an actual zombie war. If you read that without context, it would absolutely be plausible to believe that it was a real event. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, is like when we lose the context for why pieces exist, that can create its own form of questions where you're like, wait, this is a thing? I'm blanking on them now, but there's a handful of those. I've actually had to like do like a short little like pressy kind of write up on, where it's like, oh yeah, find some textual evidence of different storylines that were taken to be true that absolutely weren't, and are just effectively old wives' tales but on a grander scale. I wonder what modern equivalent is. Something we obviously know right now is fictional, but 10,000 years will be confuse historians. Yeah, so there's like World War Z. Honestly, probably a lot of... I would speculate it would be a lot of the... yeah, probably a lot of the dystopian fiction that came out in the 80s has the potential to be seen as being real because it was written so straight. It was written so like, yeah, that's actually what happened. But also just like probably the sheer volume of pop culture material that gets made. Like think of how much Fallout material, for instance, has been made of like actual signs made to look like real Vault-Tec signs or ads. Like the modern day pop culture machine, we make so much now that is like we do whole setups, I guess activation events are what they're called or whatever, that are like, you know, like fake real experiences. You know what I mean? There's a word for it. I'm blanking on it. Where you go and you pay like for a convention or whatever, and you go and it's like, yeah, I'm gone to go to the Titanic experience or whatever it is, kind of thing. But they walk you through it, and all the advertisements treat it like it's real, like that's a thing happening. You know, LARP, for instance. There's let's say you have somebody chronicle their live action role play or their D&D, like you know, and they chronicle it or their reenactment history kind of thing, and it's being chronicled in a journal by hand, especially if they use like an ink dip pen because they want to be real authentic or whatever. You know, historical props that are made for those kind of events. You cut to like 5,000 years from now, who's to say those are, you know, like not gonna be seen as being maybe equally part of the historical event? They're like, you know, I mean, they could probably be carbon dated, or there's ways to figure out like, oh, this is not as old, like the stitching technique's different, or they're like, but there will be some who get confused. I mean, there was a big issue of that in the 80s or the 90s in Japan, there was a historian who was making all these amazing discoveries of new objects and artifacts in Japan that changed. So like Japan's history, it's pre-modern, like it's prehistory history. So the Yayoi period in Japan, which is like the Iron Age everywhere else and stuff like that. They didn't have the resources slash technology to make iron in the same way, so they don't, and they do not, as an island nation, like they do not advance as fast as Korea or China or their other Sino regional neighbors. This is a bit of a sticking point culturally on the idea of, like, you know, on a grand scale. I'm not finding you'll find your individual who's into this, but on the idea of, like, you know, national pride. And so this historian finding these objects was, oh wait, here's ancient objects that prove there was iron metal working. There was alloy making in prehistory Japan, which is to say a huge change to what people knew. And he was getting celebrated. It was getting slapped in textbooks real quick. People were like, yeah, man, this is awesome. You know, the Japanese government was thrilled. This is a huge, like, celebratory thing through the 90s. Anyway, so then a reporter followed him for months, and he was planting the objects. He was hiding them in locations and then digging them up a few months later, and then declaring them to be major finds. Because he would take artifacts that were discovered elsewhere or like in museums and stuff like that, and he would hide them himself, discover them, and then declare them to be, you know, historically from Japan. And so it was all fake. But that's the thing, is like, you know, let's say everything goes crazy and everything blows up, you know, museums get scattered around. There's going to be objects that should be from, you know, lots of places around the world. Like you know, again, the Rosetta Stone would be found in Great Britain if it were, you know, unearthed there. That's, who knows what kind of a problem that'll make. But it's also worth noting, you know, the study of history is also not new. There was Egypt as a kingdom lasted long enough that that the new kingdom of Egypt had historians for the old kingdom of Egypt that were digging up stuff from there. But that's because, you know, the Bronze Age was 30,000 years. A long time went by. Also, hi, Tyler. I'm sorry, I'm on a rant. I guess it all depends on how fragile the internet really is. It's still new enough that we haven't had any major data losses, especially with archive projects around. See, that is, you are not at all at fault for thinking / feeling that way. There's been, depending on how you measure it, like if you're going from a true historical perspective, there's been immense data loss on the internet alone, just because of a reliance on cloud storage and thank you so much for 25 gifted. Why? Howdy. Dios mío. Thank you so much. I hope you're doing well. What do you mean, howdy? Oh my God. Very kind of you. I was talking about history. I was talking about the study of history, and now I'm talking about unearthing objects, and you're burying me. I'm talking about, oh my God. Human wide, that's what I'm saying. I mean, thank you very much. It's very kind, but brother, you were meant to be saving. Dios mío. You better have your Christmas shopping done, Buster, or I swear. Oh my God. Incredibly kind. He says howdy and he just dips. My God. I don't understand. This man's entirely too generous for his own good. Dear God, man. You continue talking about history. I like history. Not even enough to get the sub. Don't tempt them. Oh my God. Nap, I DM'd you the info for the Christmas toilet shark. I swear to God. Nostalgic. Tyler, what even is this? I'm still here. I'm just driving. Why are you gifting and driving? Pay attention to the road. Don't pay attention to chat. Oh my God. Don't gift and drive. Oh my god. And don't drift and drive either. But bum. Dear Lord, man. Tyler, first of all, what even is this meant to be a big meme that I just don't know about a Christmas toilet shark? Is that I was hopeful for something cool and it was just insane. It's the Christmas toilet shark. You can't just keep saying it like that somehow clears it up. Like somehow that establishes like, oh, my mistake. Of course, I understand now. Oh, the Christmas toilet shark, of course, as we all know and love. Dear God, what was I saying? Oh, data loss, right. Yeah, anyway, this whole, in the change from web 1.0 to 2.0 to now 3.0, some would argue 4.0, yada, yada, yada. I'd say we're still in 3.0. Some would argue we're not in 3.0. It's a wacky world. Anyway, in that shift, so much information was lost. You just got to think about the .com crash and the sheer volume of websites that existed for individual businesses, forums for everything. Like when the internet was not so amalgamated into purely being like a handful of websites or companies, or into a like shared social media space rather than the individual published and maintained website. You know, not necessarily useful information. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we lost like the I don't know, the Bible or whatever, the Ark of the Covenant or the Mona Lisa. Like I'm not saying like it's like, oh, we lost the St. James Bible. It's like, no, we could, but we lost, you know, human interaction, which, you know, the study of history ultimately is. So it's a fascinating, sad, and interesting element to the whole thing. But it's also one of those things that, like we are not prepared at all if the internet just like went away tomorrow. That we as a society are not prepared, not just for like how to live with that, but like the amount of information that would be lost in that situation is immense. I'm sorry, did your parents not tell you stories about how if you misbehaved, the Christmas toilet shark would bite you? Gotta be so real. You know, they did not. They did not. Strange as that may sound, I know. A curious thing. A curious thing to be certain. But no, they really didn't. So. Oh, for sure. Which is why we have had many major data losses. We definitely got a lot of loss when the internet went from forums to social media, but I'm not sure we had tons since then. Maybe I'm wrong though. So like in terms of like yes and no. I get like it depends on what you categorize as being a major loss, I guess. You know, it's the same way though that like people talk about the Library of Alexandria burning down. We've over and over again have created immense amounts of information equivalent and beyond that in the centuries since. It really wasn't that as big of a setback as people suggest. Similarly, losses of internet information is not necessarily like a major loss in the way that it may cause a setback. You're correct that we have not lost information in the sense that a major loss has not resulted in a loss of critical non-replicable information. You just misspoke, which caused you to say toilet shark would bite you. Oh my god. Oh, Dios mío. Too many things. I'm still recovering from dude just shotgun blasting subs. The data would have necessarily been lost immediately. It's stored on hard disk drives, which would store information for a while. We'd have a few users to get it up and running before things start breaking. Can't remember lifespans off the top of my head. So it depends. Like again, most information on the internet today is not backed up to any physical device or server space. Not really. They're like not in a way that will be helpful long term or recoverable necessarily, because the way that a lot of quick and dirty storage is done, which is the way that it is done for most social media platforms, because it's not necessarily valuable information on all social media. Like every single Snapchat's existence is not necessarily going to be vital, but in the same way that old TikToks or old Snapchats or old stories or whatever, you may have trouble more and more pulling those forward or getting those to load on devices and stuff like that, because the data is semi corrupted at that point. It's not necessarily entirely gone, but it's like your ability to actually get it back, even if you had the files themselves downloaded, is not necessarily going to work, in part because the material used to read old material is gone. So for example, archival work that I have worked on, which has been really fun and cool and interesting, is the work for digital record maintenance, particularly at a bureaucratic or intergovernmental or international level, which is to say, the important documents you can't lose. So that kind of stuff for records management and archival work is difficult because you have a constantly upgrading system slash patches coming out for operating systems, new interfaces, new actually mechanical aspects to machines that all fail to interact with each other eventually. So for instance, if you don't have there's an old typing service called like a WordPerfect. Wasn't super popular, but it existed at one point, and so those files made as .WordPerfect files can't be opened in Microsoft Word and don't just exist as text files, and the data on them is corrupted and lost, and unless you maintain an existing version of a WordPerfect which went out of business as a company and no longer exists and is not being maintained, like there's no way to read that data anymore. And you can't, unless you could somehow fully recreate that iteration of WordPerfect that was written on, you won't then be able to open it again later. Similarly, old versions of Microsoft files don't often open in new Microsoft files, or for instance, there's old games. And when I say old, I don't mean old. I mean like there are games made in the 2000s on engines that just will not open on modern technology because the modern technology doesn't even recognize, like the modern processor or GPU doesn't recognize what type of file is trying to be opened. It could be one or two within the whole thing, or it could be a larger swath of the game, but it creates it to only crash and be unopenable. Source code is often lost. Look, there are numerous companies that their source code was kept on individual machines, and then it just takes one wrong software update, like a Microsoft, Windows update kind of thing, and you've lost it all. And so that is a major and consistent problem with data that has actually been plaguing it for a better part of like 15 years now. Another major problem is the centralization, where like Amazon, one of their major portfolios is actually not, I think it maybe doesn't anymore, but it did for a long time outpace any other earning part of their portfolio, was their data centers. Most of the internet is kept on Amazon servers, not just like Twitch. I mean like Google and YouTube, like they're on, like it's run and operated and kept on server banks, and I mean huge building size banks of servers that are just kept in, I think most of them are in Nevada. Anyway, so these mass server areas and storage facilities, if a problem hits them, wow. Which is why whenever AWS has an outage, everything goes wrong. Exactly! And so then that creates another problem, because it's like, okay, interactivity is highlighted as a benefit for people, because like, all these things can interact well easily together, which makes things go quicker, which is, yes, good. But you've also highly centralized things into one corporation / company. Let's say, unlikely to happen, but weirder things have happened. Let's say Amazon goes bust for some reason tomorrow or in a week. And they have to start selling it. Like, do they crack that up on a part to sell it off? Like, what does that then mean for how the internet works? How does that work for data loss, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? Also, I apologize if I said something about NASA rockets and I didn't follow. But yeah, there is, but NASA and their rockets and how they work is also going to factor into that. I mean, or in the same way that, like, you know, it's quite famously, I guess, there's aspects of the nuclear weapon systems of America are kept still on like old computers that use floppy disks. Part of that is purely because of, you know, the difficulty of like, okay, well, we can't take down the system to then upgrade it because then we would be unable to respond to a nuclear strike in the time while it's down, and da-da-da-da-da. That's a part of it. But then another part of it is also just the idea of like, well, it's safer to some extent because it's entirely cut off from the rest of the world, etc. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm going a mile a minute on a million topics. Is it strange there's a small part of me that kind of wishes the world would end? I mean, you know, an intrusive thought is one thing. I mean, like, yes, if it's like a true desire, that's probably a little strange. Just a small part of only very little bit. It's just always there. But, you know, I think everybody has that small thing. Like, you know, if it's a consistent thing, probably not great. But if it's like, ooh, something will happen, you're like, maybe we should just hit the reset. The problem is, and this next thing is, I don't mean to be a doomer. I don't want to. I'm not trying to say there's an absolute guarantee. It's more and more becoming believed in different fields. Is unlike most scenarios, and I think I've said this even before on stream or talked about it because it's a fascinating topic to me. Is the idea of if society as we know it collapsed in a way that it did at the end of the Bronze Age, where like we were set back to a flat zero kind of state. We would not now be able to recover in the same way. All the ores we would need to like reload, like, you know how people publish those books that are like how to restart society, bah, 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 bah. It's like we don't have access to the necessary materials anymore at a convenient depth. Like all the ores and resources and materials needed to restart a society from the Stone Age are really deep in the ground now. And the ones that are up out of the ground, built into things, are either made into complex alloys and therefore not able to be easily returned with like simple tools and materials. And or complex solutions if they're chemical based and the like. And if something becomes a complex solution, like, it's not that there's literally, I mean, in some cases there is literally no way, but it's not that there's truly no way to return it, but it's like, oh, it's semantics, the idea that you could return most complex solution, like that your average person could return a complex solution back to its equal different parts with no cross-contamination. So we'd been spawn killed, bad RNG. Exactly. My dad works at AT&T, and they have an entire cabinet of government files that cannot be digitized and are only copies in existence. Yeah, that's good old governance. Yes. Part of the problem with that is the fact that there is a not always, and I'm not maybe not for these specifically, but I know that can be an issue for some groups because the government file is the one and only copy of it, and if you try to digitize it, depending of what it's made of, that can damage the original. Or also there's the issue of digitizing it could make it more accessible to outside sources. Or also you know, let's say you digitize by scanning. Well, if it goes through a scanner in a like a fax style scanner, it could eat the paper. There is a chance it could just eat it and then it's gone, and then you put a record into a thing and destroyed it. So, you know, it depends. But yeah, no, bad RNG is basically the best way to describe it. That like we've kind of exhausted the Earth's surface resources at this point. That we wouldn't really be able to restart in the same way. You could digitize it by sitting down and typing it out manually. Yes and no. In some aspects, you're not going to be able to type out, like, you know, images, for instance. You're not going to be able to type out the specific image. And also, at a certain point, in terms of legal work, so if I have a contract with you, and you signed the contract, and I signed the contract, and then I go type up an exact identical and get an artist to make the exact same looking signature that you made on the other one, but then you got your hand on the old one or on the original and destroyed it, we would no longer have a contract, even if I had this duplicate, even if the duplicate was very close, because technically it's not the original. And that's the way the law works. It's just like the originality of things is an aspect of record keeping. There was something. Oh, okay. Well, I just offered a deeper delve, because that is a genuine, like, I feel like a lot of people can have that gut reaction of like, oh, well, we could just type it up, or we could just do that. You know what I mean? But it's a concern that is debated by various groups as to whether or not what options exist. In a sense, like, there's multiple governments that currently don't accept e-signatures, because they're like, no, only the original wet signature with blue ink, because blue ink is harder to recreate than it is for black ink, for a fake signature kind of thing. That they maintain that. They go, no, you have to have an original copy with a blue ink wet signature. You know, is it archaic? Yes. But in part, it's like, oh, well, we haven't all agreed that the digital thing is actually the real copy yet, you know? Am I wrong in assuming that if the world ended, surely the material from stuff would now be buried relatively shallowly? So, for example, finding old machines would be like mining iron. That makes sense. That a lot of them are in complex alloys, might not be usable. Yeah, so basically, like, you are right, but so it varies to different degrees. One, in the way that they exist now, often most metals, even if they're not complex alloys, even if you have iron rods, lots of the iron in existence kind of thing is treated with some sort of chemical or some sort of thing that will give it impurities that make it more difficult to work with again, or reforge, if that makes sense. Not everything, obviously, you know, you can find like easy enough iron to do that with, but like steel, for instance, or like how we get something to the temperature enough to, like, once it's been forged, like raw iron is easier is the wrong word to use, but to work with raw iron to get it into a forgeable form is a lot easier than forged iron is, or to get enough heat going for steel to properly be done. Aluminum would be easier to find this time around. And then, well, that's the other thing is aluminum being put into foil and stuff like that. It's like, okay, so that's not really a super usable long term. Like, you know, when it becomes like so dusted, scrapped that it's like, oh, this is gonna be hard to collect enough to like reforge. So it's not like an impossibility. It's just the sheer volume of material required to restart us. Like, it's not like you couldn't get enough for for like you, me, and like 5 other guys to make swords and make some simple structures. But for the actual restarting of like humanity, there's not really an easy way to do that with like there's not really a likely way to get that accomplished with the way that resources are still below ground, or with the amount of resources that are not surface level accessible. There's also different grades of steel that don't entirely enjoy being reforged. Exactly. That's the other thing. Is also there's materials that we've, for lack of a better word, worked and reworked enough times that like they won't work the same again, if that makes sense. Like, again, I'm not a chemist or anything like that. Like the true and utter ability of this is not something that I'm intimately familiar with. So take, as I'm sure, as you always should, with anything, even if it's history, take everything I say, massive grain of salt. But it's a growing, I'm just bringing it up as for lack of a better word, that's what I mean. I don't mean to be a doomer. It's more an interesting thought experiment type thing of like, oh, yeah, so the whole like, oh, well, we'll just start again thing is like, no, probably not. Because also one of the one of the benefits of the Bronze Age collapse was the Earth shifted a lot. A lot of materials that had been, so the Bronze Age is a bit of a misnomer. That is a very long period of time, equal from what is approximately the beginning of the Bronze Age to the collapse of the Bronze Age in 1717 or whatever it is. Like that period of time from beginning to collapse is approximately the same amount of time that has gone by between the fall of the Bronze Age and now. Like that's how much time the Bronze Age held within it. So we used up a lot of resources then too. There's a lot. That's where, you know, concepts of the Hanging Gardens and all these mythic Bronze Age structures that we're pretty sure were mythic, but like all these fanciful things that existed were because there were very advanced societies for their time. One of the few that survives is Egypt, and that's not even in the way that we best know it. You know, it changes a lot from it. But anyway, the Bronze Age collapse is brought out by like a whole lot of things. One thing though is we're unsure if it's mass earthquakes, mass volcanic eruption, or meteor ? It's a debated thing. But the point that I'm making with that is that that churned up a lot of materials that were lower in the earth back towards the surface, making a restart kind of possible. The trouble now is that even if the earth were churned up, we are able to dig so deep right now that we kind of have gotten as much as is down there as well. Like we've depleted a lot of the things. Wow. Also, that's also not to say, like, in the immediate collapse, I guess also what needs to be factored in would be the impact on materials with rust and like, or the degrading element, where it's like, oh, well, we wouldn't be instantly back to it. Like, I mean, hey, actually, in fairness, I don't know, right? I don't know, right? You might be, yeah, you might stand up just, right, well, let's get to it. in just a blown out house, just like, yes, well, back to starting society, and be out there ready to reforge metal the day and date. And if so, props to you. Don't gotta organize anything. You're just like, nope, I'm ready. Let's get going. Chop. But there's also the element to consider of like, how long would the material be sat? Would any of it be irradiated? Would any of it, like, what? Like, it also depends on what caused the fall, you know? I play in a post-apocalyptic LARP system, and we do scavenge scrap metal, and a lot of this stuff isn't exactly represented. But I do imagine but I don't imagine we're ever going to get to the point where we could industrialize forging. We still have to go and grab sheets of scrap metal and rebar and stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. And again, it also would depend on what kind of post-apocalypse and how the fall happened, and so on and so forth. There's a reason we look so hard at the material components of asteroids. That's true. There's a reason. There's a reason that we get that big telescope out and go, what do you think's in that one? You think we could mine it? We are not so, and again, to put a happier spin on things, we are not so depleted in resources that this is liable to be a requirement, like in terms of like, mining asteroids anytime in probably the next century. It may begin in this century, but it's not going to be like desperately needed. But within 2 to 3, yeah, it'll probably be the need to change that. Yeah. How's your wife? How's the kids? I love my wife. Hi, Tyler. Welcome back. I hope you're doing well. How's the shark? I need to go to bed now, but this has been absolutely delightful and slightly existential. I don't mean to make it existential. It sounds worse than it is. I promise. The best thing we can do is just not let it all collapse, you know? But anyway, good night, Grant. Have a wonderful rest of your evening and have a very Merry Christmas. Bye-bye. Enjoy Wallace and Gromit. Let me just... I'm gonna need to go get some jungle wood in a second, because I think I'm gonna do a bunch of benches, and then I need the leaves for that to do topiaries in this area. If it's any condolence, most weapons of mass destruction aren't radioactive anymore. Let's go! W! Oh, God. What are those things that were like, what are those called? The rods that can be dropped from space? The shark will not bite me because I am pure of heart. Oh, Dios mío. I'll get a spray bottle. I'll get a spray bottle right now. Oh, oh, Dios mío. Anyway, that was a long. I apologize. I feel like I absolutely zeroed in on history and just went. And another thing. And at the end of the world. Oh my God. We were meant to be talking about Christmas. We were meant to be having fun Christmas discussion. Wow. Which, speaking of, I'm hyped up to go watch Rudolph. Love that movie. I don't know why. Something about it. I don't know what they put in that little animated movie. That little claymation. I don't know if they rolled something into it, but oh, baby. It's delightful. I love it dearly. I love the what's it? Cornelius? Pillars of God. Is the Rudolph movie is a pillar of God? I agree. Unless you're referring to something else, but bop, bop. No. I believe the Rudolph movie firmly is a pillar of society and a gift unto the from the heavens. So true. Yeah, okay, I should go get some more steak first. They accidentally set the copyright for 100 years before the movie was released. Crazy. Accidentally is also very funny. Like, oh yeah, accidentally the movie 100 years copyright. Oh God, was that part of the making? Is it that new? I mean, yeah, I guess it makes sense. 60s, 70s kind of thing. Because that's when the Mickey Mouse Act or whatever came through. The weapon is called Pillars of God. Oh, the weapon. Oh, I thought it had a, what's its more less fanciful name? It had not intercontinental ballistic missile, but like it's like something like that, where they just like could drop a big old piece of rebar down or whatever, basically. Tectonic something maybe. I don't know. I feel like it was in one of the Call of Duties. It seems. I feel like they were like, oh, maybe it's also the thing. No, that was a laser that they wanted for the Star Wars project by Reagan. They got a fancier name. I know they do. I can't. Or well, a more mechanical name, I guess. A more literal name. Thermokinetic orbital missile. Honestly, you know what? That sounds closer to what I was thinking in my mind, at the very least. So you know what? I'll take it. That's a W. What? Yeah, it should be good. Wow. Okay. Okie dokie. Sam. No, don't need that. I will go and double check what all I need from the main base. Because yeah, I want to go gather a bunch of jungle leaves, and then those will be what I can use for some topiaries. So we can have a bit of a Versailles look about the public gardens. Cause it's nice. Who doesn't like a nice public garden? Freshen up the place. It'll be nice for the villagers. They'll love it. They'll love it. It'll be great. No. Oh yeah, Tyler was gonna say. So Greg said the Percy Jackson stuff is in Fortnite. Now, what is it exactly? I haven't actually looked. What exactly got added? I'm curious as to what particularly was added into the in for that. As to whether I mean, I feel compelled. I can't lie. I feel somewhat compelled that I have to engage with it at this point. I mean, it's like the greatest. It's the greatest crossover it could ever be. No, don't need any of that. Ow! Because if it's just kind of like, you know, a Camp Half-Blood t-shirt or whatever, I could take a leave that. I could take a leave that. That's not gonna be. It's not gonna be the greatest thing in the world. I'm not gonna be like, oh baby, time to download and fire that one up. Give that mouse 7 cookies right now. Chop chop. But on the other hand, if it's like a cool series of skins, ooh. But then again, I don't know what dances would occur. Like, there's no dancing. So I don't know like what, which in fairness, that's all I know about Fortnite is that they put in skins of crazy characters and then they have them do a little dance. And I don't know what particular dance would be associated because like, I don't think the only dances that I can think of that'd be associated with, like are from Fortnite. I think he flosses in one of the TV series episodes. Wow. It's nighttime. Actually, it'll probably be easier if I go yeah, to that side for the Junglewood pen sword. Okay, I mean that's cool. Riptide's cool, but again, if that like just Riptide, that's not the greatest collaboration of all time or anything. I was also curious because if they did do skins, I was curious if it was gonna be based off of like the book art or based off of the actors currently playing them. I assume it'd be based off the actors currently playing them, just because like, of course it would be, you know. But at the same time, what if it's not? What if it's cool book art or the art by I think Vera was her name. I don't know. I haven't played since they were added. Fair enough. Because yeah, it was the Simpsons right before that, I guess. My Azalea leaves, oak leaves. Didn't I have a stack of jungle leaves here somewheres? I feel like I did. I guess not. I swear to God, I had jungle leaves. Okay, doggy. Maybe that's down. I feel like jungle leaves just look better for the actual like maze design because you can't see through them as easily as other like leaves. Like oak leaves you can kind of see through, birch leaves you can see through, spruce not so much, but spruce don't look good on their own. They're not like leafy, they're piney. Oh, Mount Saint Helena. What a time to be alive. Truly a peak of society. Here, give me 1 second. I'm just gonna be right back. I am going to go grab some more tea. Okie dokie. Should be good. Take care of these, and then leaf and oak leaves. Azalea leaves? Azalea, I guess they're called. Not Azalea. Azalea, like 60 doesn't have another, honestly. You know, they're basically the same kind of leaf. I was confused by the Z. What can I say? Okie dokie, we should be set. Alright. No, there's none in there. I'm gonna go get some jungle leaves, then we will be able to actually further build up the, what do we call it? Topiaries. Topiaries for the garden. Potato, tomato. True. My god. Potatoes. Ooh. Actually, I might watch Lord of the Rings soon. It's one of those things where it's like one of those, like people will be like, oh, is it a Christmas movie? I disagree. I don't think it's a Christmas movie. I'm back again. Welcome back, Tyler. I don't think it's a Christmas movie, despite the fact some people are like, oh, it starts on December 25th when they leave Hobbiton. But no, I think Christmas movies have to revolve around Christmas to be considered a Christmas movie. Like, it has to be integral to the plot, you know? My god. Tyler, you missed my Fortnite questions. I was ready to ask so many Fortnite questions. And I mean, thankfully I had Human. Human was able to answer all of my questions. And Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Yeah, exactly. Like, Die Hard's a Christmas movie because Die Hard can't happen outside, much to the chagrin, I guess, of a Macaulay Culkin. Die Hard can't happen. For those who don't know, he recently, I guess, did an interview where he was like, it's not a Christmas movie. But it's like, brother, no, that's not how that works. Die Hard, at least, is able to be a Christmas movie because that doesn't happen if his ex-wife isn't at a Christmas, like, office party. That is the integral element there. He's not going to be traveling because it's not the holiday. Like, you know, if it's a St. Patrick's Day Christmas party, he's not going to be like, or a St. Patrick's Day party, he's not going to be like, oh, let me come over. You know, and there's not going to be like extra money for Christmas bonuses or whatever, I think is also an element to that movie. So Christmas is integral. Die Hard 2, on the other hand, yeah, only the first one. In the same way that, in the same way that, not Rocky, what's Sylvester Stallone's other main thing? Oh god. Rambo. In the same way that Rambo, every other Rambo other than the first one is really nothing like the first one. The first Rambo is an actual, like, anti-war, like, sad, desperate look at the human experience of those who came back from Vietnam. The subsequent Rambo movies are just, you know, action movie explosion events, which is fine. It's just they're very different. Ask your Fortnite questions to me. Okay. Well, my main question was just like what got included for the Percy Jackson stuff. I was like, do I gotta lock in and get the Percy Jackson stuff on Fortnite? Because Human said it's just the sword, and I think maybe one other thing. But if it's just Riptide, if it's just the Ben sword, well, you know. The first one was commentary, the rest were capitalism. On it, yeah. Yeah. You know, the most interesting thing about all that is same with like LA Confidential and so many other movies of that time period that are often like held up as these like, I don't know, these boomer movies of like, yeah, hard-boiled detectives, love the cops, yeah, like Public Enemy and all these other movies. Like, dude, every cop in that movie but like the lead guy sucks. Even in Die Hard. I mean, Rambo, he's not a cop at all, but it like shows your average police force just being, you know, cruddy. It's just like, sorry, that was a little loud. It's just like, dude, why are these held up by like the super, I don't know, like Thin Blue Line folks as being all the great movies of all time, peak action, you know? There's a map where you can interact with the main trio. There is unfortunately no buyable cosmetics. Oh. Well, then that's nothing. That matters not, you know? Oh. I think we'll probably try to just... It's a distance to the jungle. I should probably... Oh, should probably try to end the pearl some of the way. I don't love the end of the pearl. It's just... Teleportations... It feels weird. It feels weird. Charge back the 25 cents, some gold glitch. I think it glitched. I think too many things kicked in. And it just went... No Bible cosmetics. Yeah, when's Jesus getting added? Oh, but no, it's I still see the actual counter. But no, it's kind of its own thing. But yeah, I don't know. Cross the river here. We can.
Okay. What? Wait. That doesn't make sense. I thought. I swear I threw it over the other way. What? Cave system. Okay. Well. Go again, I guess. Teleportation's so weird that what? Oh shit! But I threw it. Okay. Why would it keep bringing me over here? I don't particularly remember going to this cave very often. Oh, Enderman and their travel, dude. I swear. It's the strangest thing. I don't know. Cave feels weird, eerie, I guess, but what could they possibly want me to see in a cave of different... Oh, is that some kind of ruin? What is that? It's got one of those soul lanterns on it. Okay, well, spelunking, I guess, but I don't remember hearing of any ruins to be over here, and besides, why is it all crushed into a cave? That doesn't make any sense. I wonder if David knows anything about this. David would hate if he knew that I was here exploring at all, to be honest, but... Well, what David doesn't know won't kill him. I mean, I gotta take a leap of faith sometimes. Come on, it's good for the soul. See? I still got it. I'm great. Simple enough. Alright, let's continue on. Okay, the stonework's all torn apart. Hard to tell exactly what the purpose was, but I'm mostly impressed with how intact everything is. I mean, it clearly slot off here a bit, but... Wait a second. Oh, this goes much deeper. Is this a facility? No, it's too broken up for that, but it almost looks like, with the way this stone juts out, that it was impacted, but that's not the right structure for a sinkhole, and I can't imagine it being this held together if it came crashing down. Well, we can go into the other parts and see, but I'm amazed at the structural integrity of it all, really. Okay, well, this chunk's a little different. This one's more cracked but together, less of an impact feel, but it doesn't feel exactly like it's from the other section either, like it was its own thing? Or maybe a different wing. The lower we go, the rest of the stonework around it seems like it's almost the same. I mean, it's the same kind of actual raw material as this stone, just not cut yet. Let's see, what's over the edge? I thought I saw some sort of light coming up from down there. I did! Man, what is that? That's gonna be a pain to get to. Okay, well, I come back with a ladder, or maybe there's some other way down, eh? I knew you guys had my back, okay. Always lucky, big money, no whammies, come on. And, hey, staircase. I'll take that. More soul lanterns, I don't know if that's concerning or if that's a relief. But like I said, this stonework actually becomes the same material down here, except for a few sparse areas. I wonder what the implication is that they're building into the rock rather than building onto it. Is the whole cave system man-made? Or, well, whatever made this? I mean, the stone's got a good hum to it, actually. I don't know if you can feel that, but it's almost kinetic. It kind of feels like it, I don't know, knows me. It's responding to my existence? That doesn't really make sense. Okay. Well, a bit of overgrowth. I don't think there's going to be any problem up ahead. It doesn't seem like we've actually run into too many traps, but, well, can't be careful with tunnels. It's all built in, carved out. This would have been a monstrous responsibility for any sort of ancient civilization. Oh my god, this is massive. What kind of a structure is needed for... Oh god, not the eyes again. Oh, they're always causing problems. Okay, it's fine. I'll read that in a second. What is this structure? It's thin and spindly, but tall. I don't know what it could be used for. Oh, that's where we were. Okay. Did this looks separate. This looks like it was built after the fact. It looks like it wasn't part of the impact, maybe? Or rather, a secondary structure that the other structure was in some way correlated to. In any event, well, there's only one way to get some answers. Okay. It's a similar old text as before. I failed. Despite every effort I made, I've been unable to prevent this conflict. I cannot make them see, not even those closest to me. My charge to protect and guide must therefore end, or rather change. If peace cannot reign in my time, then perhaps it can in future. Therefore my charge henceforth must be, a successive effort across to stabilize the task I take on in this life and the next. An echoed declaration upon my... For now, I shall take my only alternative recourse. This will have adverse effects, I know, yet the temporary scattering of the few may just save the many. Judgment of the be upon me. What this will mean for certain I cannot say, given I embody. Perhaps I shall be halted by these. Nevertheless, these shall stand eternal until peace may ring out as a thunderous, booming declaration that all are free. That neither the of old nor threats of an age anew shall befall mortals, that none shall be hunted or prized after as monster or trophy. The betrayals set upon me shall fail in its goals, for these, I now declare, shall hence be known as... I don't know why, but I think I know this place.